Well, hello fishing friends. This is Matthew with How Fishing 13 bringing you another reel service and repair video. Today I'm going to continue working on my Aby Garcia reels, these AbuMatics. This one happens to be a 276i, and we're going to take a look at this. This is a used reel that I bought off of our favorite auction house, and I'm going to service it. There's no repairs that need to be done. It just needs to be serviced and got back into tip-top shape for fishing this summer. Let's get started. Alright, let's get started. The first thing we want to do is take the front apart and get the front apart. There's 3 little screws so that the back can come apart. We can get to the bearings in the back. So the front nose cone, it just spins off with some screws. Then we got the spinner cone. It's a little dirty. It's in pretty good shape. We need a little screwdriver to take this off. And then this just comes off like so. Alright. Then we need to take off this E-clip. You can start with that little one and then get this big one and take it off. That's the way. I always forget, but it always helps to loosen the drag all the way, which was loose. Then we have a slotted drag washer. There we go. And then we have a Teflon drag washer. These are actually good drag washers in my opinion. They're not fiber, but there's not a lot of heat that goes into these, and so they make good washers. I've never seen one of these that has fallen apart. Take the spool off. It has a plastic sleeve, so take that plastic sleeve off. And then it's got another Teflon washer and another slotted stainless steel drag washer. Then it has this spring washer that's part of the adjustment for the drag, so take that one off. Then there's this little gear right here. This gear has a little ramp on it, so as it goes around it pushes out against the spool, and that's how the drag is applied. Then there's this little drag adjustment screw. The little gear here, take that out. We're going to have to take and we're ready now to take the back off. So you just need a small Phillips screwdriver. Let's start with, there's 3 screws. You got to take off this screw, and this screw. You don't need to take this off unless something's broken. You need to replace a part. That's the little clicker. You know, before I take this all the way off, I'm going to take the handle off because I know that's going to give me an issue. I've got to take the handle all the way off first. So we need to take off. This handle is on the right side. It can be switched from right to left. So we'll take off this little cap right here, and then we'll undo this little screw right here that holds the handle on. It's a screw that goes all the way through. These Aby Garcias are very well made reels. However, I'm not sure if Aby Garcia is even making them anymore. I know that these AbuMatics, these one. There's 2 and 3. And then this piece just slides out like so. with the button and everything. Then we can take off this drag adjustment little spinner. And then this is exposed. Now, not everything here needs to be taken apart. That wee clip that I took off. Then the shaft falls down through the center. Take off the spring. Take out this main gear here. Be careful, there's a little washer right there. But at this point, I'm just kind of wondering, do I need to take this whole thing apart? The anti-reverse is actually built into this hub here. And I'm not sure if I want to take this whole thing apart, but I can clean up what I've got. I can oil that center bearing in the center there. Some old dirty grease right there. This is just a brass bushing right there. Clean this off, this spring. Okay, so let's oil things up. Put some oil in here. Okay. It has a flat D shape, so you need to just take and get it on there and get it seated down there in that bearing. That grease, just stick this shim washer in. Let's get that down in there first. Kind of fiddly. I'll put some extra grease on there so this sticks really good. There. Then we'll put this shaft back in here. Okay. Now the spring. And then this little E-clip. Okay, that's on there now. Grease this first. What we want to do now is we want to grease this. And so I'm going to take and remember, when you're greasing these gears, if you put a lot on there, it's just going to squish out and it's never going to get back on there. So just a light, thin layer of grease on there, not a lot. I like this pen grease because it's blue and you can see it really well where you apply it. Okay, and that greases up the entire gear. It's nice to see that big sturdy gear there. Okay. I'm gonna put a little bit of grease right here on that button. We can slip this back on and make sure that's on there. Then we can put this on and put our big long screws in. Fasten those. Okay. Let's put the handle back on. Put it on the right side. Put the cap on. One of the things that you need to make sure you do is put just a little drop of oil on this handle. Put it in there and let it soak in. Let that work. Hardly anybody ever oils their handles, but I was looking at a real repair diagram and where to oil things. It did have an option to oil the handle. Okay, now let's turn our attention to the front here. I want to go ahead and put a little bit of grease on this right here. Just a thin coat. Put that in here. Make sure it seats down all the way. I'm put a thin coat of grease on these little gears here, just to make sure everything works smoothly. And put a little bit of grease, just a thin layer on the ramps. And when you put this on, put it on so that it's at the lowest setting, which is the middle of that ramp right there. It goes right there in the middle, like so. All right. Next, we want to grease up all of the washers and stuff that goes back together on this. Just a thin coating. So the first thing that goes on is this spring washer. The next thing that goes on is a slot drag washer. So put that in the slot, put it down like so, and put a thin layer of grease on there. Then put a Teflon washer on. Put a thin coat of grease on there, so just very, very thin. And then we want to put a little bit of grease on the main shaft here. Put this little spool spacer on there and put a little bit of grease on there. Then put our spool on. Okay. Then we'll put a little bit of grease on here. Put our Teflon washer on. Put a little bit of grease on it. And then put our slot drag washer on our last one here. Slot. Then put this on, our E-clip to hold the spool on. Alright, clipped in place. Okay, everything seems to be working. The anti-reverse is fine. Now we just need to put the cap on as the last thing. I'm going to clean it up a little bit. I'm going to grease it up and oil. The pickup pins on these Abu Garcias, what they have is a little tiny, it's like a little sleeve on this little pin that can spin around so it doesn't wear grooves in it. And it's kind of dirty inside, so I'm going to wipe it down. That's all I would do if I was you too. Just wipe some of that dirty grease off. We're going to put some grease on there. And then oil up those little sleeves. So I want to take and put some oil on the hinge. Just a drop is all. And then I want to put a little bit of grease on the part where the spool is going to run around on these little cams right here. Okay. And take and also grease this cam right here. This is the part that makes those pickup pins come out there. All right. Now it can be a little bit tricky getting this particular cap on this AbuMatic on, because what you want to do is you want those pickup pins to come out so that you know that you got the cap on there all the way. So So I tighten up the cap, and then I turn it so that the pickup pins come out, and then I finish tightening it up. Then I know it's on there all the way. Okay, and then I just want to take and drop a little drop of oil on there, and then on the other one to get that sleeve oiled a little bit. Just a little drop of oil. Right, that's done. So this is the AbuMatic 276 high. You can't buy these new anymore, but you can go to an online auction and purchase them. They're a good spin cast reel. If you have one, take it apart, lube it, oil it, clean it up. It is complex. I just had to just sort of say I'm not going to deal with the main shaft bearings and the anti-reverse. I have probably over 60 videos on reel repair, mostly on Zebco reels, which are some of my favorites. But I'll be fishing with some of these AbuMatics this next summer, and making poles and rigs for people I take fishing to use. It's a good sturdy reel. It's a really nice looking reel, and it'll last a long time. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Bye.